Hello and welcome to the Simz Serotonin podcast. Today we're calling live from Dubai and from London. On the podcast Simz Serotonin, we're all about inspiring you to action 3Gs to grow, glow, and go after your passions and your purpose. And today, to do that, we're going to speak with a special guest. I will leave it to Toby to introduce himself. Toby, tell us about yourself and who you are. How are you really doing today?
I am doing great. I'm very excited to be here. I was quite humbled when you asked me because I wasn't sure if there would be anything for me to say, but I'll do my best to have an interesting
Don't say
conversation.
that.
Okay, I'll try embody the wisdom, the
Yeah.
wise old man, that persona. Yeah, so I'm an intern here at Adobe, much like Seema was until recently.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, good old days. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it here. It's my first sort of proper job, so it's quite intimidating. But yeah, I'm a maths, stats, and data science student at the University of Bath. I feel like sometimes that pigeonholes me into certain sort of character, but I do really enjoy. I did really enjoy pretty much every school subject. Yeah, I'm outside of that interested in philosophy. I hope we don't go too deep into that because you'll realize I don't know much.
Ooh.
And I do like maths in my free time. I like thinking, I like politics, economics. Very much into thinking about how other people think and why they act the way they do.
I love that intro. Okay, Toby, I have to ask, and this is something that I question with every math student I meet. Why did you choose to study math at uni? What do you like about maths? And I'm really curious to hear how you link that to your love for philosophy.
That's a strong question. So I do really enjoy maths. I think initially it was the fact that I was good at it. I mean, I think that's probably where most math students start. But I have learned to really love it more and more over the years. I think at GCSE I was definitely not a big fan, and then kind
Really?
of yeah. So I think it's kind of
Why?
grown on me. I think as you move on from like the learning kind of like the tools and how
Mm.
to do the basic things in maths, and you move on to like deep problem solving and using it to understand the world, I think that's when it becomes really interesting. So for me, I picked math, statistics, and data science. So
Oh,
what
okay,
this,
that's the full degree name.
yeah, so it's not 3 degrees. It does sound like it. So
No one
basically,
needs to
what
know that it's not 3 degrees.
yeah, scratch that. It is 3 degrees. I'm doing 3 degrees at once. No, yeah. So basically, the reason I chose this degree is because I I kind of have the freedom to do whatever I want as long as it's somewhat related to maths, which has allowed me to explore the other subjects which I really do enjoy. So, for example, I'm doing a math bio course. So, and what the coursework which was used to grade me was you are allowed to study any mathematical system you want and use the tools that you learn in the course to create a paper and find some real world insights.
What did you
Um,
choose? What system?
so I chose predator prey models in coral reefs and how coral degradation can lead to instability in those populations.
Down?
Uh, I tried to translate it on the fly, but yeah, it was really, really interesting. And I think the thing which I enjoyed most about it is I got to learn all these really interesting, complex mathematical tools and kind of translate that in something in the real world. So what I found is that with low amounts of coral, the prey have nowhere to hide, and then the predators eat them, and then the prey die out, then the predators die out. And I did this simply by building up from mathematical equations, and then I
Wow.
visualized it, and I found it fascinating personally.
That's pretty cool that you can do all that with math.
I mean, I didn't realize you could until I did it. Yeah, I think it's really, really amazing.
Nice. And what about philosophy? What kind of do you feel like math overlaps a lot with philosophy?
I think they, I think the connection, the bridge that you have between maths and philosophy is logical the thing is that with philosophy, I think the additional thing which you have is the emotion to it. Maths is very, very logical, whereas philosophy feels like a mix of a combination of logic and emotion.
You don't feel
And
like maths involves emotion at all?
um, I mean, I guess when I'm doing like a maths paper, I can get very frustrated. I'll count that as emotion. Not sure. That's an interesting one. I wouldn't say so.
If you had to write an essay about how how emotion can be integrated into maths, exclusive of your feelings about it,
Yeah.
what would you say your argument would be?
If I were to write an essay about how emotion would be integrated into maths,
Yeah.
um, I have no idea. I have absolutely no clue. Um, I think you could definitely do something like complex with how the brain works, and then take like brain waves and how they correlate to different emotions, and
Uh-huh.
then analyze those waves with I believe it's called Fourier transforms.
So
But
using math to analyze emotions.
that's the only thing I can think of. I can't think of anything really deep and philosophical where you can link the two. I'm not
Do you
sure if you can.
do you think math is more do you think math is purely objective or also subjective?
Hmm. I mean, I think math is grounded by the logic of the universe, right? And I think the way your brain perceives this logic is very much filtered through your senses. I'm not sure if it's. No, I'm not going to try quote a philosopher because I'm going to get it absurdly wrong.
It's
But
fine, you can do it.
oh no, I'm going to say David Hume talked about filtering the world through your senses, but that's probably off a podcast I watched last night at 3 a.m. So
Why were you
anyone who
up at
is
3 a.m. watching a podcast?
I'm interested in philosophy. I was clearly preparing for this podcast.
Oh, you
Yeah,
were just on it ahead of the game.
yeah,
You
yeah,
knew
of
what we were
course.
going to talk about despite me giving you no clue.
Yeah, of course. I'm very well prepared, trust me. No, yeah, and he talks about how, or some philosopher talks about how the world and the logic is filtered through your senses, and everyone has their own subjective view on the world. And linking it back to maths, I think people can. I'm not sure how to link it back to maths actually. I can't remember where we started.
Yeah, I forgot to. Oh no, we are talking about objectivity and subjectivity.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Would math is math subjective? Um, I'd say grounded in our logical understanding of the universe, maths is pretty objective. I would love to have
Fair.
an interesting view and say it's subjective, but I don't think I have anything to say on that.
That's fair.
Um,
I get you. I feel like it
yeah.
can be. I mean, I'm no mathematician, but I
Mm,
feel like when you look at figures and you have to make an analysis,
yeah.
that involves subjectivity. But that's because we play that role. So I don't know
Mm.
if
I would argue that's because of how it's represented in figures. So how the graphics, come out and then what you spot in them and if you spot patterns, I guess it's more like there are patterns and it's about whether you can uncover them.
mm,
I guess that's similar to what IQ is. It's pattern recognition, isn't it?
yeah, oh
So
my God,
that's
I
what people.
hate IQ tests.
Me too. Me
You
too. I
hate
mean,
them?
that's
Really?
I well, I'm not a fan of IQ tests. I think they're so fixated on pattern recognition. I mean, that to me,
Yeah.
that's all they are. And I think that puts a nominal value to someone's intelligence, which doesn't take into like the full picture of someone.
Yeah. And that's why I was so very grateful that Adobe did not have a psychometric test.
Yeah,
Because half of the companies I applied to during placement did have a
yeah,
psychometric
yeah,
test. And the thing is, it's not only like numerical reasoning, there's verbal reasoning,
mm,
situational, and all
yeah,
this. And it's just, I don't feel like, to your point, it's not an accurate reflection of one's abilities. But
yeah,
then equally, I feel some people aren't as good as like depicting their ability to act in like socially and like how they can
yeah,
perform in a workplace through an interview. So then
yeah.
maybe that's arguably not super fair too, but I feel like it's more realistic than a psychometric test, right?
Well, I think psychometric tests psychometric tests can be very useful. I think trying to assign some sort of value to how well someone performs at very specific tasks, which get used on your day to day. So pattern recognition you're using all the time. I think there is value to that, and someone with higher pattern recognition will generally be better at doing things than someone with a lot lower. But and I also think that the reason that there isn't any sort of test for how good someone is at social skills is because it's incredibly nuanced social interaction, and it's incredibly different to boil that down and shrink it into one value where you can, rate someone.
Yeah.
But if companies could do it, they would do it. Like they wouldn't bother with interviews. They'd just do like another psychometric test.
Let's say you were the CEO of a future company, like
Mm.
I don't know, Toby Ltd. What would
Yeah.
you do to hire people? How would you, if you could think of like a really cool, crazy way to interview
Mm.
or like assess people, what would you do? Because for example, I heard that there used to be this, I don't know if it actually happened, but I saw
Yeah.
somewhere online that companies would, like when it was an in-person interview, they would
Mm.
test like if they were given a coffee, whether the person took the coffee back with them and like on their way out
Yeah.
to return it or
Yeah.
like offered to wash it or something.
Mm.
And that would be a determiner as to whether they got hired or not. Would you do something like that or would you do something different?
I think that something like that is so interesting. And it's so interesting to see what different people to do. Because you
Yeah.
can have someone who's like a really good person who just forgets to do it, and then suddenly they're like thrown out of the interview.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably not that dramatic, but yeah, I would absolutely have some sort of weird way of interviewing people. I think one interesting thing to do would be to ask someone what is a really strong view that you have about the world, and then ask them to take you through it logically step by step. I think that not only you um, understand whether someone is quite stubborn if you ask them
Mm.
that. You can understand whether someone's really thought through like some of their ideas about the world, or whether they're quite flexible in their brain. Um, I think the only problem you'd find with that is you'd get some quite controversial opinions, and
Yeah.
then
Well,
you kind of have
depending
to
what people would
separate.
actually share in an interview.
Yeah, and then you'd get some people saying like a very vanilla opinion, then you can't
Yeah.
really, analyze it at all.
But you could almost use that as an indicator as to whether you actually want to hire the person. Like, how real are they being? If they're just being vanilla,
Yeah,
then goodbye.
yeah, true. I mean, I would want interesting people
Okay, I
in my
have a
company.
question for you, Toby.
Yep.
What's a really, what was your question? Basically, I'm asking you your question. What's
Uh, what was
something
my question?
pressing opinion about the world? What exactly did you say?
What was a strong opinion you
What's
have
a
about
strong
the world,
opinion you have
and
about the world?
talk logically through it?
Go for it.
Oh, wow. So I'm in the interview now.
You need to answer.
Whew. I I believe that everybody should be treated with empathy, despite how they seem on the surface. I mean, that's quite a vanilla one, I'd say.
Everyone, even
Um,
criminals.
I think initially you should treat them with an open mind. Um, I I think that's a tough one because some people you can see clearly by their actions. Can you? I was going to say some people you can see clearly the type of people they are by their actions, but I don't even think that's true. Not sure what you think about.
Mm, I don't know. I feel like it's a very difficult one because actions don't always tell a person's intention entirely.
Mm,
Because some people
yeah.
can't really, well, I mean, maybe it does, but I think people who have certain mental conditions, for example, like
Mm,
they they do things that maybe yes they intend to do, but not that they want, or it's more like the brain takes over, their condition takes over.
yeah. Do you know what you mean? I mean, so okay, so I have two brothers. One of them's 10. He's younger than me. He's like a mini
Mhm.
me. And my other brother is 22 and he has Down syndrome. So I think maybe where this view's come from is personal experience. So I think as I grew up, I had him as my older brother, and I think I used to get quite frustrated about the way he acts because I didn't really understand it. So he would, I don't know, I would have like a stash of sweets and he would eat it, and I'd be like, why would you do that? That's completely unfair. And on the surface, an action like that, if you hear a kid stole another kid's sweets, you'd be like, well, that's not very nice. Doesn't seem like a very nice kid. But you don't understand that some people just don't see the world in that way and don't
Yeah.
understand consequences. And
Hmm.
that may be because of a mental disability like Down syndrome. So that's what he has.
Yeah.
Or maybe because they haven't been afforded the opportunities of education. But the reason I say you have to treat everyone with empathy is because you don't know what they've been through, what opportunities they've been afforded, and you don't know, let's say you weren't able to go to school or you weren't able to go to university, how your brain would think differently about situations and how different of a person you would be.
That's a really good point. Yeah. And I really like the word empathy that you use because empathy means like being able, or it links to being able to consider someone else's perspective, like put
Yeah,
yourself in their shoes, feel for them.
yeah,
And I resonate with you on the experience of not always understanding because I have people in my wider family
mm,
with autism, and
mm,
I've been in situations where like we're in the elevator, for example, in the hotel, and then they'll like maybe search someone, like touch someone's bag, or you know what I mean?
mm,
But
yeah,
the other person will be bothered. They'll be like, "Why are you doing that?"
yeah,
But they don't know that, they have
mm,
autism and that's just
yeah,
how they act sometimes, it's totally normal for
yeah,
them. And I was like,
exactly.
I'm used to it, but this stranger doesn't
Mm.
know. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly. It's the experiences you've been afforded which shape the way you view the world. I think some people forget that that's so like that happens to such an extent and you don't realize it. I
yeah.
think being with my brother when I was younger has forced me to be understanding. Otherwise, I just get frustrated at him, and it's forced me to think about why he does the things he does.
Yeah. It's good. It's eye-opening to expose yourself to different types of people and
Yeah,
different like mental conditions
yeah,
or disabilities.
absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, how did we reach this? What where did what did we were talking about math?
I don't even know. I'll probably listen to this back and see. But yeah, no, I think it's something I think about quite a lot.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
like that answer. Empathy wins.
empathy wins. Yeah, I like that too. Um,
Toby, what? So when I asked you like who you are, how you are, you said you talked about your job, you talked
mm,
about what you
yeah.
study at uni. What do you like to do in your free time? You listen to podcasts. What podcasts were you listening to?
I was listening to this guy called Alex O'Connor.
That sounds so familiar.
So he is a I he so he studied theology at Oxford University. So he's
Okay.
a quote unquote philosopher. I'd say more of like a he's probably more entertainment than philosopher. But I think the reason why I resonate with him in particular is because he has quite it seems like he has quite an objective view on things. He doesn't seem to he tries to avoid personal bias and break it down logically. So I would describe myself as agnostic. So I assume quite a few people know what that means, but for people who don't, it means that I'm kind of on the fence about whether God exists. Um,
Really?
and even yeah, I would say so. I think I've definitely switched between being a theist and atheist throughout my life. But at the moment, I wouldn't be able to tell you either or.
Wait, what's a
Um,
theist? I know what an atheist
uh,
is.
so it's like believing in God.
Oh, okay.
So Christians are theists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so to be honest, it's just jargon. Yeah, jargon for saying believing in God to make people seem smarter. Um, yeah. Despite me being agnostic, he's an atheist, and I, I think the interesting thing about him is he did study theology, so the study of I believe it's the study of God, um, at Oxford University. So he has this interesting perspective where he knows so much about different religions, particularly Christianity, yet still doesn't believe in God. And he studied that throughout his life for years and years, and he studies something he doesn't believe in, which I think is
Wow.
incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have loved to do that in an alternate life. Maybe I
Hmm.
could. Don't
You
know.
still could. You could always do a master's in it or even another
Yeah,
undergrad degree.
yeah. I mean,
If you were,
one of the things I wanted to do was study philosophy and mathematics at Oxford, but turns out I didn't work hard enough to get in, so kind of
why
gave
would
up
you want,
halfway.
why Oxford?
Um, I think honestly, I like the look of the library.
The
It
aesthetic.
has that. Do you know the one I'm talking about? The amazing like circular library.
Is
Um,
that Oxford? I remember
is that
seeing something like that in King's, but it's probably very different and
may,
much prettier at Oxford.
maybe? I don't know. Well, I didn't get in, so I wouldn't know. No, I think I didn't end up applying. Uh, but I would have loved to study there. I just think at that point in my life, I didn't work hard enough and wasn't smart enough to have that combination to get
Whoa, whoa,
in.
whoa.
So
When you say you weren't smart enough, what do you think? It's funny because I did an episode with Jonathan
okay,
and we were talking about smart and with
yeah,
Jonathan and Esther. What do you think smart means? Because
okay.
I'll let you talk first.
Why? I think the reason I say that is because to get into somewhere like Oxford, purely academically, you have to either work you have to have a combination of working really really hard and being very very smart. And I think you can lack in one of those things, like you can be slightly less smart or intelligent, however you want to frame it. I mean, it links back to our IQ tests. Like, being academically intelligent is a very narrow, pigeonholed way of viewing someone's, ability to think.
Yeah.
Um, or you can be naturally a lot more intelligent and probably work a bit less hard. And I think maybe at this point in my life, I work hard enough that I might be able to get in. But back then, I was not the dedicated intern that I am now.
Okay, so combination of like smartness coming from
Mm,
academia and like
yeah,
IQ with effort, essentially.
yeah. I
Mm.
mean, that's what you need. It's I
Yeah.
guess.
Because I always had the word smart always bothered me because I feel like
Yeah.
smartness doesn't stem entirely from IQ but also
Mm,
effort, which is
yeah.
but that's interesting because then you kind of separated them. You're like smartness from IQ
Yeah.
and then also effort with it to get into
I
somewhere
think
like Oxford.
I think someone who works hard is probably more mature than someone who does. That's a broad statement. Maybe I take that back. I think the ability to dedicate yourself to a long-term goal is quite mature, and I guess you could call
Discipline.
someone disciplined. I think discipline is a kind of intelligence. Um, the ability to think of long-term goals. So I would say that both of them contribute to someone who's smart. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a loaded term. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot which comes along with that.
I asked about like why Oxford because I was curious as to
Mm,
whether it was because of like the prestige of the uni and like the
absolutely.
experience,
I
not
mean,
just
you've got to remember that it is Oxford University. Like if
yeah, yeah,
like that as like a title,
yeah. But I
Um,
don't know about you, but I feel like the more time passes, the more the names and like not lose credibility, but like the more I'm like, oh, okay, like
yeah,
of course it's great. Like I would love the
yeah,
opportunity to one day maybe study there. Like I don't know if
mm,
there's a topic that is
yeah.
regarded highly at Oxford that I've become very passionate about. But I feel like I don't know, like I just tend the older I've grown, the more I've realized that like and the more I've been exposed I realized that like for example, King's College London. I always maybe it's because I didn't grow up in the UK, but like it was always one of the big unis that everyone talked
Yeah,
about, and I was like, oh my God, like they went to King's, they graduated from
yeah,
King's, and like and again maybe it's because my degree is not like as wow there, but
mm,
like when I actually learned more about it and looked into it and spoke to people who went, I didn't hear the most like wow experiences. Even with placement, like I won't say the name of the company, but there's this one company that like everyone wanted to apply to in my degree.
mm,
It was everyone's dream to get in. But when I spoke to people who did their placement there, they were like, "Oh yeah, like to be honest, it wasn't the best. Like
Yeah,
culture isn't the best, and like it's
yeah,
kind of all not a facade. Like of course people learned from their experience, but
mm,
the name holds so much power that
mm.
labels can constrain or the true impression sometimes.
I
What
mean,
do you
I
think?
think people are just so desperate to have success in life, and I think it's the safe option is to go with whatever people are saying is the best place to go. I think so. Seema, we're both at Bath, and I don't know about you. I absolutely love it there. I think
Same.
I'm
It's the
so
best.
glad I picked Bath.
Same.
And when I was applying to different degrees, of course I was thinking about going to Oxford. That fell apart, but I was also thinking about going to Warwick. So when I was weighing up these two options, I was thinking, okay, Warwick, it's quote unquote higher ranked in the global universities. I
Because
was
that's
like,
not
I
an,
should
it's
probably go
not
there.
a Russell group.
No,
It's
I
equivalent,
think
but it's
is
officially not.
yeah. I'm not sure. Bath definitely isn't. I'm not sure about Warwick.
No, Warwick is.
Um,
Warwick is. I
Warwick
think.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking Russell Group, non-Russell Group. I should go for
Yeah.
Warwick. Ranking. This is high ranking. This is low ranked. I should go for Warwick. Then I actually visited both universities, and I found that when I was walking around Warwick, I just felt a lot. My baseline of like how comfortable I felt was a lot lower. I was like, this doesn't seem like a place for me.
Mm.
And when I was walking around Bath, I was looking at the buildings, I was looking at the river. I was like, I went around the campus. I was like, what an amazing city and
Yeah.
place this would be to study in. So I had this dilemma between should I go with the objective, like better university, or should I go with somewhere where my gut says I think I'll be happier?
Hmm.
And I did end up going with Bath. I dropped Warwick and only had Bath as my only university option. I think that was absolutely the right decision. And I think um, people are scared to make the wrong decisions in life, and people try to get some sort of objective pros and cons list or number or something to choose one thing over the other. Um, and I don't think you should live your life like that personally. I found I'm a lot happier. It's a bit cheesy, but I'm a lot happier going with my gut
Yeah.
and going with
No,
what makes me happy, you know?
yeah. No, it's cheesy, but it's true. I was literally
Yeah.
in the exact same situation as you. Like,
Mm.
it was
Yeah.
like, okay, Bath. I feel like my heart belongs there. Like it's calling me, and my
Yeah.
gut says to go with it. But then
Mm.
for my work was King's. I was like, oh, like the name, living in London as well. I don't know, but then I went to both similar to you, and like
Yeah.
when I walked around campus at night, because I saw like the dorms, everyone in their kitchens, I was
Yeah.
like, I have to choose Bath. Like, how
Yeah.
could I not choose Bath? The campus, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I think at the end of the day, you do have to go with your gut. And I know some people don't always like, for example, my sister. Sometimes when I tell her, oh,
Mm.
like my gut told me, like I got a gut feeling. She's like, what do you mean you got a gut feeling? Like I don't really
Mm.
get a gut feeling.
Yeah.
So like I've heard that sometimes people don't entirely resonate with the idea of going with your
Mm.
gut, but I just I feel like your gut, like I don't know, like how do you not
Well,
know from your gut?
I think the reason why it's so hard to understand a gut feeling is because it's a deep-rooted emotional reaction to something, and that's something really difficult to pick apart. So if you go through, like, let's say I was walking through Bath, I was feeling more connected to it. If I really break that down, that's probably from like, I'm looking at the trees, I'm like, that looks really nice. Whenever I've walked through trees, it's made me happy, and then
Mm,
that's kind of added to the gut feeling. Um, and I think all of these, like it all comes from a combination of your life experiences in your
yeah.
brain and that putting together this feeling of whether you like something or not. And I don't think it's worth trying to break that down. It's worth trusting it. Um,
Oh, I love that. I never thought about gut feelings that way, like a combination of like your lived
yeah.
experiences, what feelings and emotions are associated with them, and then
Mm,
this overall of it coming all together. And it's worth
yeah.
trusting it rather than
Yeah.
breaking it down. Damn, that's deep, Toby.
I mean, I
That
mean,
should be
I
the
just
podcast like caption.
yeah, hey, go for it. Go for it. I like that. Um, I mean, the thing is, I think the reason I say something like this is because being someone who's quite quote unquote logical, I've gone through my life trying to break things down and treat them objectively, and
Uh,
it's just so much more. Honestly, it's a waste of time. You need to trust that your brain, which has been the result of evolution over millions of years,
mhm.
can take loads of experiences together and tell you which one you're gonna like more.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you understand if I'm
No,
making
no, no, I
sense.
get you fully.
Yeah,
Yeah. You need to not exhaust your mind sometimes. Just, you
yeah.
know,
It's
let
also,
do
yeah,
yourself.
it's a lot of effort to
Yeah.
try make decisions by really thinking about them.
Yeah.
Just make a decision, see what happens.
Yeah. I can be a mega overthinker with like
Mm,
assessing two different possible
yeah,
scenarios, but I really feel like sometimes by the time that you've made a decision, like this is especially something I think um with business, for example, like
mm,
by the
yeah,
time you've decided what you want to do, someone has probably already done it and done like three versions of it.
yeah.
So quit like being an over like a what's it called, and just quit, take yourself out of analysis paralysis
Yeah,
and
that's
just
the
like
one.
shoot your shot. And so that's something I changed a lot in Adobe throughout my last placement year. I feel like before placement I was so much more like hyper analytical when I did something, but through Adobe I kind of just started doing things and seeing what
Yeah,
happened. And like even if it turned out to be a mistake, at least I learned
yeah.
from it, you know what I mean?
See, that's really interesting because that's exactly what I've experienced so far.
Really?
Um, yeah, no, that I've been through the exact same thing. I
How do you
think
feel about it?
I mean I feel like it's kind of like a weight off your shoulders. The fact that you don't have to try analyze everything to come up with something objective. I think yeah, that trust in yourself is so freeing, you know?
100%. Yeah.
And I think, especially, I mean, going into something like this, you can be quite like insecure. You can be like, what if I do this wrong? What if I'm not good at
Mhm.
it? And I think realizing that everyone working here is just another person like you,
Yeah. No
and
one knows it all.
yeah, no one
Even
knows it all.
Shantanu. When you met him, I'm sure he would tell you that.
Met who?
When you met Shantanu.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Even he
of
doesn't know
course.
it all.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought Shantanu was a fascinating guy.
Would you want to be in that position?
Shantanu's job. I mean, as he said in the Q&A, it is the best job in the company. Um, but there is you have to be a certain type of person to go for that sort of role. I think the thing which I do like about it is the freedom of it and the
Mm.
control and the ability to think big picture. I really like big picture thinking. I don't
Yeah.
like tweaking things
Mm.
tediously, which weirdly doesn't fit with maths, but whatever. Um, but yeah, I really like that bit. I think the bit which I couldn't do is the work-life balance. I don't
Mm.
think I could spend my whole life working, which I assume he does. Um, I mean, I guess he has the freedom not to, but yeah, no, I would need some free time to enjoy my life.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, he likes golfing. He
I
goes
like
golfing.
golfing.
Do you?
Well, I played golf yesterday.
Really?
I generally throughout life I've loved my sports. Haven't played it as much recently, but yesterday I decided to go with some of my friends and play an 18 hole of
Hmm.
golf, which was great.
Have you done golfing
Fortunate,
in Bath?
there's a golf course right next to the
It's
university.
stunning. You should go.
Yeah, I've walked through. I've walked through. It's an amazing course, but I have not played it, which
Well,
is
this is
really
on your
weird.
final year bucket list, Toby. You need to go play golf in
Okay,
Bath.
I'll note it down. Have to play on that
You
course.
have to.
I mean, it is literally next to one of my lecture halls, so kind of have
No
to.
excuses, man. No
Yeah.
excuses. Oh,
Um,
cool. Well,
yeah.
this was a very fun chat, but before we wrap up, I
Mm.
would love for you to share with the audience Toby, what is one way you would encourage everyone to spread their serotonin, to spread happiness, to spread
Um,
happiness in the world?
I mean, going back to what I said, so being empathetic, I think in a world which is getting increasingly more tribal, so political parties are getting more and more extreme either side, we need to understand that people have had their own experiences, and I'm a big believer on most people want to do good in the world. And so people think that those views that they have are their way of doing good to the world. And I think you need to understand that and break it down and talk to someone like they're human. Not sure if that made any sense.
It
Empathy is
did.
the big
Well, it did to
empathy.
me.
Empathy is the big word, which I'd like to encourage.
In essence, go for empathy. Empathy wins.
In essence, go for empathy. That's the podcast name. There you go.
Love it. Oh, well, thanks so
Brilliant.
much for being a guest today, Toby. It was a pleasure to have you and to hear your insights from math to empathy to golfing to
Yep.
questioning being a CEO and all the other things we talked about, which are now slipping my
Yep.
mind. But
No,
yeah,
it's
thanks
fine.
so much. How
Yeah,
did you
so
find it?
grateful. Yeah, no, I was really surprised when you asked me. But super grateful to be here, and I'd love
Glad
to
you enjoyed.
get some of my random thoughts out into the world. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Cool.
Thank
Thanks
you.
everyone for listening and have a great day. We hope this gave you some serotonin.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.